Hi y'all, it's Heather again. So this will be my second video. Y'all have to excuse the noise. I have my animals with me and they're fighting. And my cat's looking at them like they're crazy. So please excuse the vibrating video. So my video tonight is going to be mostly about my pre-op tomorrow and some other things that I don't feel like people are covering on their videos, or that I don't feel like my doctor has talked to me about. So my pre-op's tomorrow. Like I said in my last video, I know, yeah, I'm scared, but I broke down in tears about a week ago on how I could be so lucky to have such an amazing friend that's willing to donate a piece of her to me. I mean, my donor is scared to death of needles, has never had a surgery in her life. I mean, I didn't even mention it to her. I just told her I needed a kidney transplant. Well, hell, Heather, let me go get tested. I mean, who does that? Who is so selfless that they just say, well, okay, let's go fix it. I mean, I haven't been the best person all my life. I've tried to make up for some of the stuff I've done when I was younger, but I was humbled. I mean, seriously humbled and stopped in my tracks that I was so lucky to have a friend in my life that would do that for me. I mean, so the thing that worries me is, what if something goes wrong? What if I put her through all of this and the kidney rejects? Well, I just made her go through a major surgery. I took one of her organs, and for nothing, you know? Or worst comes to worst, what if something happens on the table? What if she's not the same? God forbid she dies. I mean, that's because of me. And how can I ask someone to do that? And if it was just me in my life, I seriously probably would have walked out to the woods and just accepted my fate. But I have my son, and he's who I live for. I've turned my life around. I went and got my degree after I had him. I mean, everything I do and I have become, I do for him. And I couldn't leave him like that. So I had to take one for the team and, accept the kidney transplant fate. But how can I, as a person, make someone go through the pain and suffering to do that? So it's just one of those things that I've been struggling with for the last 6 months. I mean, I'm not a whiner, I'm not a crier. I just, not even worried about me. I mean, when people ask me, are you going to be okay with the surgery? I could care less about my recovery, what's going to happen to me. I'm more worried about her. I mean, what is her recovery going to be like? What is she going to feel like? Is she going to feel okay? How long is it going to take her to recover? I'm more worried about my kidney recipient or my kidney donor than I am about myself, because I have no other choice but to be fine. So I thought about some other things that were stuff that people don't talk about either. Was the potassium. My gosh, I walk around some days and it looks like I have lice. I mean, I really try to watch my potassium. But I'm not a coffee drinker, so I have my big Whataburger Diet Coke in the morning, and I know that has potassium in it. But I've been doing that for so many years that I'd probably go kill somebody if I didn't have my Diet Coke in the morning. So I'm getting potassium there. I've cut out the other things, chocolates and potatoes and things like that. But I mean, the potassium, I guess that's the only thing that makes us itch. But I'm seriously like throughout the day, all of a sudden scratching my head, or after I take a shower. Like I guess anytime I sweat, my sweetie, no bark. My the skin just doesn't like the feel of the sweat or something, and it just makes it just go crazy. What else? The cankles. Okay, so I haven't been fat all my life. I've always been very in shape. It's the last 5 years that I've gotten fat. Totally get it. But, oh my God, I never thought I'd be the lady with cankles. Check this out. I mean, seriously, where does the ankle end and the calf begin? It's ridiculous and kind of gross. Glad I don't look at my feet that often. So, I guess the last thing I'm going to talk about is how I felt the hospital has handled this situation. I'm doing Methodist Hospital in Houston. I truly feel like I am just a number. I have cussed out for, cussed out both of my social workers, as I didn't feel like they were representing me the best they could. I mean, the only thing that is wrong with me, well, okay, I have a couple things wrong with me. I'm crazy, but that's a given. I'm a woman. Women are crazy, but I'm overweight and I have kidney disease. It took them a year to get me through their kidney donation program. It was ridiculous. I mean, in my first class that I had with them, it was the lady I met in there. She was going on her third or fourth kidney, but she only came to this hospital because they did the switch program, switch, whatever it is. And that's why she came to this. I talked to her seriously like 3 months after I met her. She already had a transplant from another hospital. I mean, what's my hospital been doing? I mean, I finally called my rep or social worker or whatever you want to call them and said, hey, dude, what's going on with I work 2 blocks away. I'll come shove my foot up your ass if you don't get it together. Amazingly, they gave me a new social worker later, and that day, the lady called me and said, okay, your file's going for approval. And before that, okay, so that was the second time. That was the second one I got, my second social worker. First social worker, so I travel a lot for work. I go to India, I go to Chicago, I go to Florida. I'm an accountant. I go places. That's part of my job. And they just randomly set up appointments, and they snail mail me my appointments. No one calls me. Even a freaking text would be nice. Email, anything. Nothing. So I hadn't heard from anybody at the hospital for a few months, and finally I called. I was like, well, what's the deal? Oh, well, you missed the appointment to the urologist here at the hospital. No one told me I had an appointment, so that was that. That took like 3 or 4 months to get that rescheduled. So they don't have my best interest in mind. And then the whole reason, the whole reason this hospital is, top is because, or number one is because they do the SWAP program. Well, I could care less about the SWAP program. But the plus of the SWAP program is you're supposed to go in, your donor okays it, and you get the same or better kidney. Well, I'm taking a donor in that's close to my age, and the average donor for a kidney is between 50 and 60. I was like, well, if I'm going in the swap program, I don't want someone in their 50s or 60s kidney. It might be a great kidney, but I prefer, if I had a choice, to have my donor's kidney who's closer to my age and who's in perfect health and her kidney works great. So I hadn't heard from the hospital in a while, and I called them. I was like, so what's the deal? I mean, I haven't heard from y'all in months. I know I've been approved. I have a donor. I mean, I'm spending over $100,000 with y'all to get a freaking kidney, and I can't get any kind of customer service. The lady's like, well, oh, ma'am, I don't... I mean, she's like, okay, well, we have you scheduled for surgery next month. Hold on, what? You have me scheduled for surgery next month. Have you checked with my donor? My donor has a kid. I have a kid. Do you know what next month is? Next month is the first week of school. No, that's not going to work with us. Oh, and we also have you on a swap program. Okay, so this is the first I'm hearing about it. Well, tell me about the swap person. Oh, well, their kidney's 50 to 60 years old. You don't have any DNA markers. Well, what's the benefit of me being in the program then? Oh, well, your donor has DNA markers with their recipient. So let me get this straight. I bring in a younger recipient, and y'all are giving her kidney to an older person, and I get an older person's kidney. I hate to sound selfish, but, you know, I'm going to be selfish. No. I'm going to take the 36-year-old kidney that's in perfect health, and I'm going to run with it. The 50, 60-year-old kidney can go with its recipient. I mean, I hate to sound horrible, but really? I mean, I didn't see the benefit of it. The lady just dropped that I'm having a surgery the next month, didn't check with my donor or anything. Finally, I called the boss's boss of the hospital and said, hey, look, here's the issue. And they pushed it back another month so that Jessie and I had time to get our life straight. I mean, she's a mom, I'm a mom. Her kid's super smart and really good in school. My kid's super athletic and super busy with school. So we had to get things set up. I mean, she's going to be out of work for 2 weeks. I'm going to be out a minimum of 6 weeks. You can't just tell someone, what did they tell me, 3 weeks before the surgery? Oh, yeah, we have your surgery scheduled. It was ridiculous. So what else do I have today? I think that's it for tonight. I will post tomorrow because I have tons of questions for the doctor. I'm finally going to get a doctor in a room. I've had a doctor in a room before. He answered some of my questions. He was pretty cool. But it seemed like the other times I've been to the hospital and seen their rotational doctor, I'm just a number. They've said they'll answer that when we get closer to the surgery, or it just depends on how your recovery is. Well, no, you should know. You should be able to tell me what's going to happen to me. I mean, this is major life-changing things. Am I going to be able to go to my kid's football game when I get out of the hospital? I mean, I'll wear a goofy-looking mask. I have some good-looking eyes, so I can do that. But, I mean, I feel ill-prepared for the surgery coming up. So, tons of questions. I will get back with y'all tomorrow and let y'all know how the pre-op goes. And, yeah. So, if y'all have any questions or concerns, comment below, always. Thanks, and have a great night, y'all.